Have you ever looked at the world and wondered, if God made everything good, why does everything feel so broken? Why is there pain? Why do people hurt each other? Why does the world sometimes feel so far from peace? Genesis takes us back before all of that. Before fear, before shame, before death, before the mess began. It takes us back to the beginning, when God made everything good. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the deep waters, but the darkness was not alone. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters like a quiet promise that something beautiful was about to begin. Then God spoke, and light came. God separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and He called the darkness night. And when evening passed and morning came, day one was complete. Then God made a great space between the waters. The waters below stayed below, and the waters above were lifted above. Between them, God opened the sky. And when evening passed and morning came, day two was complete. Then God gathered the waters together, and for the first time, dry land appeared. Mountains rose, valleys opened, rivers began to flow. Shores touched the sea. God called the dry ground land and the gathered water seas, and God saw that it was good. But He was not finished. God spoke again, and the land came alive with green. Grass spread across the earth. Flowers bloomed, trees lifted their branches, plants grew with seeds, and fruit trees carried fruit. The world was no longer empty. It was becoming a home. And when evening passed and morning came, day three was complete. Then God placed lights in the sky. The greater light would rule the day. The lesser light would rule the night. And when evening passed and morning came, day four was complete. Then God turned to the waters and the skies. The seas, which had once been empty, began to teem with life. Creatures moved beneath the waves. Small fish, great sea creatures, and living things filled the waters. Then the sky came alive too. Birds flew above the earth, crossing the open heavens God had made. Life was spreading. And when evening passed and morning came, day five was complete. Then came day six. The land, which had been covered with grass, trees, and flowers, was no longer still. God filled it with living creatures. Animals moved across the fields. Creatures walked beneath the trees. Small things crept close to the ground, and great creatures stood strong in the open land. The earth was full of life now. But then God did something different, something unlike everything He had made before. God made human beings in His image. The Bible will show us more about Adam, Eve, and the garden in the next part of the story. But here, Genesis wants us to see something very important. People were made by God. People were made for God. And people were made to reflect His goodness in the world. Humanity was not an accident. Adam and Eve were not just another part of the scenery. They were made with purpose. And there they were, the first man and woman alive in the world God had prepared. Adam and Eve opened their eyes to creation with wonder. Everything around them had been made by God, and now they were standing in the middle of it, not as strangers, but as part of His good design. God blessed them and gave them a calling. They were to fill the earth, care for it, and rule over the living creatures in a way that reflected the goodness of the God who made them. And God provided for them too. The plants, the seeds, and the fruit trees were given as food. Creation was not only beautiful to look at, it was a place where life could grow. Then God looked at everything He had made: the light, the sky, the land, the seas, the plants, the stars, the creatures, and humanity. And God saw that it was very good. And when evening passed and morning came, day 6 was complete. Then came the 7th day. But this day was different. God did not fill it with more creatures. He did not raise more mountains. He did not call more stars into the sky. The work of creation was finished, so God rested. Not because He was tired, dear one. God rested because everything He set out to make was complete. The world was full of life, beauty, order, and peace. And God blessed the 7th day and made it holy. That is how the Bible begins. Not with people lost and alone, not with darkness winning, not with brokenness having the final word. It begins with God, a good creator, a good world, and people made in His image. The world we know now can feel painful and broken. But Genesis tells us something important. Brokenness was not the beginning. God's goodness was. And as the story continues, we will see that God does not abandon what He made. He keeps moving toward His people. He keeps bringing light into darkness. And one day, this story will lead us to Jesus. But first, Genesis slows down. Next time, we step into the garden God prepared for Adam and Eve, a beautiful place, a clear command, and the beginning of the very first marriage. If you'd like to continue through Scripture with us, subscribe and join us for the next chapter. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give you peace.